Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's get started. We are going to begin the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gītā today. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Śrīvāsādi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Śrīvāsādi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly giving your association. We are continuing our study of Sri Bhagavad Gītā, and we have completed till chapter number 6, and today we will begin chapter 7. As we discussed, our founder Acharya Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Ashtottar Shata Shri Śrīmad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada explains that Bhagavad Gītā has 18 chapters. The first 6 chapters, they teach us about karma. The last 6 chapters teach us about Gyan. And the middle 6 chapters, they teach us about pure devotional service, bhakti. And our acharyas give example that just like a sandwich, it has got bread at the bottom, bread on the top, and then in between is the essence. People like peanut butter jelly sandwich, PBJ, very common, especially kids, they like to have PBJs. So that PBJ, the essence is the bhakti, and it is in the middle 6 chapters. Krishna has sandwiched it very nicely. So bhakti is spoken principally in the middle 6 chapters, chapter 7 through 12. So we are going to begin chapter 7 today. Hare Krishna. So let me share my screen. So this is Bhagavad Gītā. Let's open chapter 7. It is called The Knowledge of the Absolute. So as you all know, we are doing an overview of the Bhagavad Gītā. We are not going in lots of details. So text 1. We are going to read the Sanskrit for this particular verse. So Bhagavad Gītā chapter 7, text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is speaking. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya saktamana partha yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yatha yassi tachrunuhu. Very nice. Now Srila Prabhupada is giving us the translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna said, now here, O son of Pritha. Pritha is a name of Kunti. So the son of Pritha means the son of Kunti. That is Arjun. Now here, O son of Pritha or son of Kunti, Arjun, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, Mai asakta mana, with your mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from all doubts. Asamshayam. Samshaya means doubt. You can know me asamshaya. You can know me completely without having any doubts. How is that possible? That I will explain now. So please listen carefully. Krishna is saying to Arjun. Now please remember, chapter 6 concluded with Krishna's definition of a perfect yogi. Krishna said in the last verse of the 6th chapter that yogi nam api sarvesham madgatenantara atmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. That the uttam yogi, in my opinion, Krishna says, is one who is completely attached to me, who takes complete shelter of me with faith. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. He serves me with full faith and is completely surrendered. Madgatena antaratmana. Is completely surrendered to me. That is the best yogi, one who always meditates on me. Now Krishna is, so natural question is, Krishna, how do we do that? How do we completely absorb our mind in you? How can we always think of you? How do we do that? So Krishna is going to explain that now. Therefore, Krishna is saying, now listen carefully how by practicing this yoga, you can become completely attached to me and you can know me in full. So let's go to next verse, verse number 2. This verse also is very important. Krishna is saying, Jnanam teham savidnyanam idam vaksham asheshataha yadnyatva neha bhuyonyaj Nyatavyam avashishyate. This is very important verse. Krishna is saying, I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge. Asheshata. Shesha means something is remaining. Ashesh means complete. I am not holding back anything, Arjun. I am giving you the full knowledge. Ashesha means complete. Jnanam teham sa vidnyanam idam vaksham. Vakshami means to speak, to give. Vakshami asheshata. I'm giving you full. And what will be the result? This is important. Yad nyatva neha bhuyonyaj jnatevam avashishyate. After knowing this, nothing more shall remain for you to know. That is the proof that this is the complete knowledge. So Krishna is saying, after knowing this, nothing more shall remain for you to know. Now here I'm going to make a point. Please don't misunderstand me. Please don't think I'm being disrespectful to any culture or any religion. But I'm just stating something that comes to the heart after we read this. There are many ways to approach God. And based on time, place, and circumstances, Kal, Desh, Patra, Krishna reveals himself through his representatives in different ways. Krishna may send his son. Krishna may send his messenger. Krishna may send a prophet. Krishna may send his pure devotees. And based on time, place, and circumstances, Krishna is revealed to us through such representatives of Krishna. Now, Krishna and Krishna's representatives, they speak based on the audience. One has to understand that always the message of God is given based on the audience. How much can the audience assimilate? How much can the audience understand? Based on that, an expert representative of God will give the message of God. The message of God is same, whether one is a Hindu, whether one is a Muslim, whether one is a Christian, whether one is a Jew or any other faith. All bona fide religions, they essentially talk about the same path. When Srila Prabhupada was told by a Christian preacher But Jesus Christ said, I am the only way to the light and the truth. Srila Prabhupada said, yes, we are following the path of Jesus Christ. Yes, the path of Jesus Christ is the only way. Prabhupada agreed. So there is no contradiction, there is no discrepancy. Everyone is speaking about God, but they are speaking based on time, place, and circumstances. Please let us look at this verse number 2 again. Yad jnatva neha bhuyonyaj jnataevam avashishyate. Krishna is saying, after knowing this knowledge, nothing more shall remain for you to know. In the Holy Bible and in the Christian literatures, it is said that once Lord Jesus Christ saw rain-filled clouds in the sky, and tears of love came in the eyes of Jesus Christ. And when his followers asked, Jesus Christ said, there is much I want to tell you, but you cannot understand it right now. You see? Based on the audience, what is their level of spiritual realization? Based on that, our acharyas speak. Even Prophet Muhammad, he gave teachings like one should not have illicit relations with one's mother and sister. Such things are taught in the Islamic faith. Why? Because the audience were uncultured in the desert regions at that time. They were highly uncultured barbarians who were mercifully elevated by Prophet Muhammad to a higher level of spiritual understanding based on where they were. So basic things had to be told, that do not have illicit relations with your mother and sister. Now my question is, does Arjun need to be told that? No, Arjun is a highly evolved, highly cultured Aryan. You see? So the knowledge that will be given to Arjun, who is not only a highly civilized Aryan, but he is also Bhakto Sime Sakha Cheti. He is also a friend of Krishna and a devotee already. Krishna is not going to hold back. Krishna is going to give the full dose, the full highest knowledge. And therefore Krishna can say, Yad jnatva neha bhuyonyaj jnataevam avashishyate. After knowing this, nothing more shall remain for you to know. Whereas Lord Jesus Christ said, there is much I want to give you, but you are not ready yet. See the difference? All the scriptures are correct. All the scriptures are perfect. The math that we learned in 4th grade is perfect. The math that we learned in 8th grade is perfect. The math that we learn in 12th grade is perfect. And the math that someone who is doing PhD in mathematics is doing, that is also perfect. But something is perfect, something is more perfect, and something is most perfect. Gradually, yeah, it's higher and higher. So more details are given in the Vedic literatures because the audience were more evolved, they were more pure. They were already following these Brahminical standards. So they were ready to take more detailed information. That Krishna has a form. Venu kvanantam aravinda dalayataksham. Barhavatam samasitam buddha sundarangam. Kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shobham. Govindam adi purusham tamaham bhaja. The personal form of Krishna, how he plays the flute, how he attracts the gopis, all that can be given to evolved spiritualists. So first you speak basic tattva. You are not the body, you are the soul. You are not independent, there is God. He is controlling nature. You are supposed to serve that God. Then once this is accepted, then the knowledge of God can be given. So this is important. We should appreciate that Bhagavad Gita is giving us very high class knowledge. Yad jnatva neha bhuyonyaj jnataevam avashishyate. After knowing this, nothing more shall remain to be known. This is rare. Okay, so this is the point I wanted to make. So please don't misunderstand. I am not criticizing any faith. We respect all faiths, all bona fide religions. Text 3. Again, very important verse. We all know this verse. Text 3. Let's chant it. Call response. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Krishna is teaching us, out of thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. Now, we are sitting in Atlanta, the metropolitan Atlanta area, which includes Cumming and Alpharetta. Let's look around us. There are several million people here. How many of them are really interested in in not God, in not religion, how many of them are interested in making their life perfect? Siddhaya means to become perfect in spiritual life. How many people in the Atlanta metropolitan area out of 6 or 8 million, how many are yatatam? How many of them are endeavoring, actively endeavoring for spiritual perfection? Let's think about it. How many? Hardly any. People go to temples, people go to mosques, synagogues, and church. For some, it's a spiritual change. For some, it's to get some peace of mind, get some sanity in this crazy world, or to destroy all the sins. Or it's a way of socializing for some in a mode of goodness, right? Because Saturday night, we are in a different world, enjoying and drinking. Sunday morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, let's get some spiritual, let's get some good karma so we can enjoy. So that we are pious, we are considered pious. So most people, but how many are endeavoring for perfection? Very rare, very rare. Among temple going people, church going people, mosque going people, synagogue going people, very, very, very few are actually endeavoring for perfection in spiritual life. So Krishna is saying, Manushyanam sahasreshu. Sahasra means thousands. Manushyanam sahasreshu. Kaschid, hardly one or two will endeavor for spiritual perfection among thousands. Now, these are human beings. We are not talking about plants, insects, animals. Unfortunately, they are in the mode of ignorance. So just see the rarity of what we have received. So among thousands of human beings, hardly few will endeavor for spiritual perfection. Many are atheists. Many are agnostics. They are not sure whether God exists. But we are talking about theists. Among thousands of theists, hardly one will endeavor for spiritual perfection. Okay? Now, yatatam api siddhanam kaschin ma vetti tatvata. Out of thousands of such people who attain spiritual perfection, hardly one will know me in truth. Because some may be devotees of Lord Narayana. Some may be Brahmavadis. They may merge in the Param Brahman and commit spiritual suicide. Because there is no relationship of service with God in that state. But it is considered one of the spiritual perfections. So, among thousands of spiritually perfect, hardly one will take exclusive shelter of Krishna. And what is Srila Prabhupada teaching us? Pure devotional service to Krishna. Aradhya Bhagwana Vrajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam. Krishna is teaching us, Srila Prabhupada is teaching us through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, pure devotional service to Krishna. How rare is that? In Krishna's own words, Krishna sees a pure devotee, a Krishna Bhakta, Shuddha Krishna Bhakta, as a very, very rare person in this world. Think about it. Insects, plants, and how many insects are there? How many microbes are there in this house? Think about it. Human beings are very rare. Just few billion, right? And out of few billions, hardly few endeavor for spiritual perfection. And Srila Prabhupada said that the Christians, faithful Christians who follow Jesus Christ properly, they will go to the planet of Lord Brahma, and from there they will go to Vaikuntha. Srila Prabhupada said this. So they will attain perfection. The faithful Christians will for sure attain spiritual perfection. There is no doubt about it. It's not that only followers of Bhagavad Gītā are going to attain spiritual perfection. It's not like that. Because Krishna can speak his message through different paths. But the question is, how many are taking to Kevala Krishna Bhakti, pure Krishna consciousness? Those are very rare. Even among spiritually perfect people, pure devotees of Krishna are very rare. Krishna is saying, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatita siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam vedi tatvata. Hardly one will know Krishna in truth. So very important truth. Now verse number 4. Again, this is a very commonly quoted verse. Bhumirapo nalo vayur khammano buddhire vacha ahankaritiyame bhinna prakriti ashtada. Krishna is saying earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, all together, these 8 constitute my separated material energies. So these are all material energies. Now, so many times people, they go to these yoga clubs and they do yoga. and you ask them, why do you practice yoga? Hot yoga, still hot yoga, very hot yoga. Why these different types of yoga do you practice? Oh, it gives peace of mind. What is mind? It is a material energy. You're still on the material plane. If you're playing around on the platform of mind and intelligence and peace and low blood pressure, it reduces my blood pressure, helps me with my pain, helps me with my blood pressure. Your body, everything is made up of material elements. You're very much on a material plane. Are you a transcendentalist? They may be practicing yoga, but they are not transcendentalists. Krishna is saying these are all material elements. If someone is considered successful because they have earned a lot of money, are they transcendentalists? No. Are they spiritualists? No, they are materialists because money is matter. If someone has become very famous, a sports star, can throw the ball through a hoop very expertly, or can hit a ball very expertly, or can run with a ball or catch a ball very expertly, are they transcendentalists? I have seen when I did my sports medicine rotation at Emory during my residency training, I saw retired NBA players and they were broke. And I asked them, how did you, you earned millions of dollars. How did you get broke? He said, doc, I was 20. I was 21 when I got those millions of dollars. And I went and bought the fanciest car. All my relatives, they would just come and ask me for money and I would just give it away. I would throw expensive party. I would go on exotic vacations. And I just lost all my money before I knew it. And I retired, my basketball or football career ended and the cash stopped coming. And I was 27, 28. The money stopped coming and I didn't know what to do. But I was used to such a lavish lifestyle. I had like a $3 million home. I still had mortgage to pay. And I got broke. I saw not one, two, several such sports stars. So this material wealth, material fame, it is all very temporary. All very temporary. When Ambarish Prabhu, the great-grandson of Henry Ford, when he went to meet Srila Prabhupada for the first time, that's how he was introduced in Detroit temple. That Srila Prabhupada, this is Mr. Ford. He is the great-grandson of Henry Ford. See, now there are Toyotas and Hondas in America. But way back in the 1960s, it was Ford. Even now, when I was working in Alabama, everybody drives a Chevy or a Ford. And I had a Honda and they would look at me, are you not American? Why do you drive a Honda? Even Chevy is not considered American. It has to be a Ford. So imagine 1960s, 1970s, a car means Ford. And this is the great-grandson of Henry Ford, Ambarish Prabhu. He was brought to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was not, you are the great-grandson of Henry Ford, namaste. No. Prabhupada, first question Prabhupada asked him, you are a great-grandson of Mr. Henry Ford? Can you tell me where is Mr. Henry Ford today? Where is he now? And immediately Ambarish Prabhu understood that this is not a person who is going to just speak sweet words to get money from me. He's a sadhu. He's going to speak what is for my good. In the first meeting, in the first sentence, he's reminding me, Mr. Ford, today you are Mr. Ford. In your next life, you may be a servant of Mr. Ford, or the servant of the servant of the servant of Mr. Ford. So don't be puffed up. Material wealth is very chapal. Lakshmi is very chapal, very chanchal. She's here today, she's there. She will leave you. So that is a sadhu. That is a sadhu, always speaks the truth. And then Ambarish Prabhu surrendered to Srila Prabhupada. So if we are on the material plane, wealth, fame, adoration, distinction, peace of mind, it's all material. Unless and until we want to serve Radha Krishna, we are on the platform of materialism. Now, Krishna is going to explain that in the next verse number 5. Krishna says, besides these, so 8 material elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are the 5 gross material elements. There are 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ahankar, false ego. What is mind? So these are subtle elements. We have to understand them analytically. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. What is mind? What is intelligence? And what is false ego? Please pay attention and listen carefully. We can understand these subtle elements by its symptoms. For example, solid things, solid objects have a shape. They are visible to the eye. They can be touched, they can be tasted, they can be smelled. There are sound vibrations going through it, so they can be heard. You see? So solid objects have all these qualities, all these symptoms. Liquid objects have all these symptoms, except they don't have a fixed shape. They flow. They will take the shape of the container. So the qualities keep on decreasing. Similarly, fire. Liquid doesn't have fixed shape, but liquids have fixed volume. Correct? But fire doesn't have fixed volume. It just flickers, fire. And then air is even more subtle. Fire, at least you can see, but air you cannot see. And then ether, or sound vibrations or electromagnetic waves, that is even subtler than air, because air, at least you can feel it. When the wind blows in your face, you can feel the wind. But can you feel Wi-Fi? Prabhuji just connected me to his Wi-Fi. I cannot feel the Wi-Fi. What is Wi-Fi unreal? Does it not exist? Just because I cannot see it, I cannot taste it, I cannot smell it? No. In fact, we are having this Zoom meeting because of Wi-Fi. You see? So subtler you go, the more powerful it is. Like I give the example. Jaikumar Prabhu can hear me because he's sitting at 10 feet distance from me. But all of you, now Purnima and Ananya, you are sitting in India. But you are still able to hear me in real time. Why? Because I am using something very subtle. Ether. Ether, that is Wi-Fi or internet. It is subtler than even air. And you can hear me in real time. It is so powerful. Shampriya Mataji is sitting in Cincinnati and she's able to hear right now. So the subtler you go, the more powerful it becomes. So what is the grossest element? Earth. More subtler than earth is water. Subtler than water is fire. Subtler than fire is air. Subtler than air is ether. Now let's keep going subtler. Ether, at least you can tap with a computer device. This computer device can tap into the Wi-Fi, which is ether. Let's go subtler than that. That is mind. Can you tap into the mind with a Mac? No. Can you tap into the mind with a phone? No. Jaikumar, can you tell me what I'm thinking? No. I'm thinking you're a very great devotee. I'm thinking, who is this wonderful Vaishnava sitting in front of me? But you cannot read my thoughts. I'm thinking Mallika is such a sincere 20-year-old girl. She can be Saturday evening, she can be going and partying with her friends, but she's sitting here and listening attentively to the message of Krishna. So we cannot hear and tap into other people's thoughts and minds, because mind is subtler than ether. The symptom of mind is hankering. I want this, and rejecting. I don't want this. I don't like a Toyota. I want a Mercedes Benz. This is the mind. Wanting and rejecting. Having desires. This is a symptom of mind. Just like having a fixed shape, having taste is a symptom of solids. Flowing is a symptom of liquid. Heat and light, symptom of fire. All these elements, material elements, have symptoms. So how do we know mind? We cannot see the mind. We cannot touch the mind. Well, mind is this. Sankalpa, Vikalpa in Sanskrit. Wanting something and rejecting something. As long as we are desiring and as long as we are rejecting, we should know that the mind is there. The symptom of mind is desiring and rejecting. Sankalpa, Vikalpa. Hankering. I want this. I want that. I don't want this. I don't like that. This is the mind. Okay. Let's go subtler. Let's go to the intelligence. What is intelligence? Intelligence is that discerning ability which dictates to the mind. For example, I may have obesity. I'm overweight. I'm not obese yet. but I'm overweight. And Jaishri Mataji might have made rasgullas today. So mind means, wow, rasgullas. I'm going to eat them. Mataji, give me 2. Not 1, at least 2. Gulab jam. Give me 2 gulab jams with little extra sugar syrup. That is mind, wanting. I want to enjoy the gulab jam. But intelligence is, no, you are doing intermittent fasting. You are not supposed to eat at night. Only 2 meals. You already had your breakfast and lunch. No dinner. That is intelligence. That is intelligence. That ability to discern. The mind will say, I want this. But intelligence is that ability to discern and rationalize that, no, this is not good for you. Or, yes, this is good for you. On Ekadashi, someone may offer a cake. And the mind will say, wow, I have not had this strawberry cheesecake in a long time. I'll never get it again. Let me have it. It's vegan. Come on. Come on, it's vegan. Nobody's watching. But no. Intelligence means no. Follow Ekadashi. Krishna will be pleased. So to say no to that tempting cheesecake is intelligence. The ability to discern what is right, what is wrong. Intelligence. Discrimination, correct. The ability to discriminate. That is the symptom of intelligence. Now, let us go even subtler. So mind wants something and rejects something. Intelligence tells us whether this is good for us or bad for us. Now, we may choose to listen to our intelligence, or we may choose to turn a deaf ear to the intelligence. Now, I am going to eat those gulab jamun. Mataji, give me gulab jamun. So that choice we have, whether we listen to intelligence or not. But intelligence will tell us what is right, what is wrong, based on our training. For example, a Vaishnava is trained, so he will know that I don't want to eat beef. But someone who is not a Vaishnava, who is not following the path of Vaishnavism, their intelligence will not tell them that beef is bad. So intelligence will tell us what is right, what is wrong based on the training. Okay, now let's go subtler. Ahankar, false ego. What is false ego? False ego means to identify oneself with the 7 gross material elements. What are the 7 elements? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, and intelligence. The 8th one is false ego. False ego means to identify oneself with these 7 elements. So what is the body made up of? It is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. There is a fire of digestion, combustion, internal combustion for digestion. There is air in the lungs. There is oxygen in the blood. And our bones and flesh and everything is made up from elements from the earth. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, all those things. So body is made up of Pancha Mahabhut, the 5 material elements. To identify oneself, and the mind and intelligence, total 7. To identify oneself that I am made up of these 7 elements is called false ego. So for example, if you ask me, if Jaikumar Prabhu asks me, Ādi Gadādhara Prabhu, how tall are you? I am 5'7". Prabhuji asked me, how old are you? I am 42 years old. You ask me, what is your name? I am Abhay Deshmukh. This is all false ego. I am thinking that I am this body. 5 feet 7 inch tall, 42-year-old body who has come to America looking for some dollars from India. This is false ego. That I am this body. Am I this body? No. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jivara Swarup hai Krishna Nitya Das. We are Krishna Das. We are not this body. I don't even know what I was in my previous life. And I don't know what I will be in my next life. So I am certainly not this body. Because this body, was it born 5 feet 7 inches? No. So that means I am not that body. Am I the 5-year-old Abhay? Am I the 15-year-old Abhay? Am I the 30-year-old Abhay? Am I the 42-year-old Abhay? Why? I am. But will I be 42-year-old Abhay 5 years from now? No. 10 years from now? No. So this body keeps changing, keeps transforming. So we are not this body. We cannot say I am this body because today this body is there, tomorrow it's not there. So I'm not the body. But to think that I am this body and to behave like I am this body is false ego. Now, how is it more powerful than intelligence and mind? Because intelligence and mind are working, thinking that I am this body. You see, mind says, I want that gulab jam. I want that rasgulla, that gulab jam. ISKCON bullet. I want the gulab jam. Mind is saying. Why? Because mind is thinking, I am the body. This tongue needs that gulab jam. And intelligence is saying, don't take that gulab jam. Intermittent fasting. You're not supposed to eat dinner. Why intelligence saying that? Because again, intelligence is thinking, I am this overweight body. I want to reduce my BMI below 25. So intelligence is very intelligent, but the foundation of intelligence is I am the body. And that I am the body is ahankar. Without false ego, there is no question of intelligence or mind. What will they do? You see? So mind and intelligence are very subtle and powerful, but they are working on the basis of false ego. They are active. They exist because of the false ego. So which is the most powerful? Ahankar, false ego. It is the foundation of everything. False ego. And what is Krishna consciousness? To destroy that false ego and to be established in one's true ego. What is true ego? Jivara Swarup hai Krishna Nitya Das. Oh Krishna, I am yours. I am not this body. I am not man. I am not woman. I am not Brahman. I am not Shudra. I am not Indian. I am not American. I am not black. I am not white. I am not brown. Krishna, I am your servant. Jivara Swarup hai Krishna Nitya Das. Krishna tadarsa shakti bheda bhed prakash. Gopi bhartu pada kamalayor das dasanudas. Naham vipro nacha narapatir napi vaishyo na shudro. Naham varani nacha grihapatir no vanastho yatirva. Kintu prodyan nikhila parma ananda purnamritabdher gopi bhartu pada kamalayor das dasanudas. Mahaprabhu said this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I am not Brahman, I am not Kshatriya, I am not Vaishya, I am not Shudra, I am not Brahmachari, I am not Grihastha, I am not Vanaprastha, I am not Sannyasi. Who am I? Krishna, who is the ocean of all bliss and happiness. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, who is Gopinath. Gopi Bhartu means Gopinath, the Lord of the Gopis. That's who I am. This is called true ego. So to live and work and operate in this consciousness, that I am Krishna Das Anudas. This is called true ego. Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamala Das Das Anudas. And this is what Srila Prabhupada came to give us. So here in verse number 5, Krishna is saying, besides these 8 material energies, material elements, O mighty armed Arjun, there is another superior energy of mine, which comprises the living entities, all of us. And what are we doing? Unfortunately, we are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So what is our problem? Instead of identifying ourselves with Krishna, we are identifying ourselves with this material energy because of false ego. That's why we are stuck here. If we turn towards Krishna, then we will get Krishna. We will be free from this material energy. So all we have to do is drop everything and turn towards Krishna in our true ego. If we give a false ego, then everything will fall in place. Our whole problem is that we have got false ego. We are misidentifying ourselves. To give an example, Mallika, let's say you participate in a drama and you in a drama are playing the role of Helen Keller. Helen Keller was a very great lady. She had I think she had encephalitis when she was a newborn girl, and she went blind and she lost her ability to hear also. So she became blind and deaf. As a result, she couldn't speak. So she became mute also. But then she overcame all her handicaps, all her physical challenges in a very great way, Helen Keller. So let's say you play the role of Helen Keller in a drama. And after the drama, you keep identifying yourself. No, I am Helen Keller. I am blind. I am deaf. I want to read the Braille script. You keep thinking that you are Helen Keller. And they tell you, no, that was just a drama. It's over now. You are Mallika. You are the daughter of Jai Śrīmad and Jai Kumar Prabhu. You say, no, I am Helen Keller. I am Helen Keller. I am in Alabama. I am this, I am that. So, no, someone has to wake you up. Shh, Mallika, stop it. You are not Helen Keller. You are Mallika. So that is true ego. To be established yourself in who you actually are, instead of thinking oneself that we are not what we are not. So Maya means to think what we are not. So Krishna is saying that besides these 8 elements, there is a superior energy called Jiva Tattva, which is all of us, living entities, but we are exploiting the inferior material energy. That is our problem. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Krishna bhuliya jiv anadhir bahirmukh ataiva mayatare deha samsar dukh. That we have become Krishna bahirmukh. Bahirmukh means to turn away. Sammukh means to face. Bahirmukh means turn away. Krishna bhuliya jiv anadi bahirmukh. Forever we have been Krishna bahirmukh. We have turned away from Krishna. Ataiva. Therefore, mayatare deha samsar dukh. Therefore, we are facing dukkha, sorrow, distress in this material world because we have turned away from Krishna. So we have to just turn towards Krishna. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hai andhakar, jahan Krishna taha nahi, Maya radhikar. Srila Prabhupada made this as the motto, the mission statement of Back to Godhead magazine. Godhead is light, Essence is darkness. Where there is Godhead, there is no essence, something like that. Yeah. So Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hai andhakar, jahan Krishna taha nahi, Maya radhikar. This is a fundamental thing we all have to remember. Okay. Now, you were saying, Mataji, something? Yasha Mataji, you were saying something?
In Bhagavad Gītā, 2 birds are sitting on a...
Correct. Paramatma and the Jiva. Atma and Jiva. Paramatma is just witness, watching. And the Jiva is enjoying the fruits. Sweet fruits, sometimes bitter fruits, happiness, sorrow. Jiva is engaged, but very good example. So we are engaged in the material elements. Verse number 6. Shri Krishna is saying, all created beings have their source in these 2 natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. So everything material, everything spiritual, it is coming from Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam pravartate. Everything is coming from Krishna, both material and spiritual worlds. And we should understand there are two things. There is material and there is spiritual. And we are in between, marginal potency. Verse 7. O conqueror of wealth, Dhananjay, which is another name for Arjun, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Very important verse. So let's read this. Mataha parataram nanya kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani gana iva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls. Thank you, Prabhu. As pearls are strung on a thread. So Jaikumar Prabhu brought this Mahaprasad garland of Nimai Nitai Jagannath Balle Subhadra Radha Madhav at a very opportune time because Sutre Mani Gana Iva.
Yeah.
So we are talking, Krishna is giving the example of a garland here. So let's see what Krishna is saying. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread.
That was good timing.
Good timing, yeah? Very good timing. So Krishna is saying everything is resting on Krishna. Just as, for example, these flowers, you cannot necessarily see the thread. You can see the flowers. There is a red flower, there are white mogra flowers, a red rose flower, there are leaves, but they are able to be present as a garland only because of the thread. If the thread is cut, everything will fall apart. Similarly, our Tulsi Mala. It is a necklace of Tulsi beads, wooden beads, Tulsi beads. Can we see the nylon thread? No. But can the Kanthi Mala exist without the nylon thread? No. It will just, everything will fall apart. So Krishna is saying, I am the thread. Sutra. Sutra means thread. And Mani means the beads. So Krishna is saying, Mataha parataram na anyat. It has got two meanings. One meaning is that there is no truth superior to me. I am the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna says. That is one meaning. There is no one superior to me. Paratara na anyat. Another meaning is Mataha parataram na anyat means there is nothing besides me. I am everywhere. Krishna is saying. Both the meanings are there. And how is that to be understood? Mai sarvam idam protam. Everyone is strung upon me. Everyone is depending upon me, relying upon me, just as a garland or a necklace rests upon the sutra. Sutra manigana iva. Iva means just like. Such a beautiful analogy Krishna is giving. So that was very nice example. Whenever we see our Kanthimala, we should remember this. That we cannot see Krishna. We cannot see the thread. But that doesn't mean the thread doesn't exist. In fact, the garland is there because of the thread. So Krishna is the support, everything. Verse 8. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon. I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, and I am the sound in ether, and I am the ability in man. I am the ability in man. Paurusham Nrishu. I am the ability in man. So, if we are impressed by anyone's ability, if we are impressed by some, most valuable player, MVP, in basketball or cricket or American football, or the richest man on earth, or the greatest entrepreneur of the year, or man of the year, or Time magazine. If we are impressed by anyone's ability, what we should know? Paurusham Nrushu. Krishna is the ability in man. Krishna is giving that ability to the most successful man. We don't have that ability. Krishna is giving us that ability. Even once Srila Prabhupada was drinking water, and Prabhupada, in his majestic royal way, took the glass and he was drinking very nicely, as if he was, meditating on the water. And somebody asked Prabhupada, why you are like, when you're drinking with exclusive concentration. Prabhupada said, yes, in Bhagavad Gītā, Krishna says, Rasoham apsu kaunteya, that I am the taste of water. So when I'm drinking water, I'm tasting Krishna. Just see how we can be Krishna conscious in every little thing in our life. I am the light of the sun. When we see sunlight, we should remember Krishna. I am the light of the moon. We should remember Krishna at night. And I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. We begin Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. That Om is also Krishna. Every mantra begins with Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Krishna is Om, and he's the ability in man. He's a sound in ether. So whenever we hear sound, we should think of Krishna. So Krishna says, I am the sound in ether. Very important point I would like to make here. Krishna is saying, I am the sound in ether. What do we learn from that? We should not pollute ether. We should not talk nonsense. We should not play nonsense music. Because ether, sound belongs to Krishna. Shabda Brahma. So we should use sound in Krishna's service. If we are using sound for some prajalpa or some nonsense, we are Hare Krishna. We are insulting Krishna. It's like taking somebody's property and using it according to one's own whims. For example, if you give me $10 and you tell me, Ādi Gadādhara Prabhu, go to Walmart and get milk, and I take $10 from you and I go and I buy candy for myself and I don't bring milk. Is that proper? Improper. Because you gave me the money, it's your money, and you gave it to me for a particular reason. So Krishna has given a Shabda Brahma sound for our purification. Mana Trayati iti mantra. The mantras have been given to liberate us. Mana Trayati iti mantra. Mantras are meant to take us to Krishna. But if we use sound for pop music and rock and roll music and Bollywood music and Hollywood music and watching too much news and sports commentaries and political analysis and discussion, we are simply polluting ether. Krishna says, I am the sound in ether. So we have to respect sound. We should speak Krishna now, Krishna Katha. Verse number 10, last verse for today. O son of Pritha, means Arjun, know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful man. You see? So let's read this verse. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam Vidhi partha sanatanam Buddhir buddhimatam asmi Tejas tejasvinam aham. So Krishna is saying that I am the seed of all existence. I am the seed of aham bija pradapita. Krishna is the seed-giving father of everything, everyone. Sarva yonishu kaunteya aham bija pradapita. And please know that I am the intelligence of the intelligent. So if we are impressed by anyone's IQ or intelligence, oh, this fellow is super intelligent, we should understand that yes, but that intelligence is coming from Krishna. That intelligence is coming from Krishna. And we are the prowess of all power. I am the Krishna, I am the prowess of all powerful men. So the one may be the most powerful man. My son likes to watch those videos. The most powerful man on earth. And they are doing like 200 pull-ups and they're running and lifting heavy weights. So the CrossFit, he goes to this, different, does the lift of tires and God knows what they do. They do, what is it called? Anyway, I'm forgetting the Jujutsu and what does it do? Grappling. They go on the ground and they grapple with each other and active self-defense and all those things. So they are considered to be very powerful people. But Krishna says that I am the power of all powerful men. That source of all power is Krishna. Tejas tejasvinamaham. I am the Tej in all Tejasvi people. So whenever we see all these qualities, someone is very intelligent, someone is very powerful, someone is very good looking, someone is very famous, someone is very smart, someone is a very good orator, we should understand that all these qualities are ultimately coming from Krishna. All these qualities are coming from Krishna. And if we have any ability, we should know that this is also coming from Krishna. So all Guru is to Krishna. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtana. So with this, I will stop here. If there are any questions, you can please ask. We can spend a few minutes on questions. Hare Krishna.
I have a question.
Yes.
Well, first, one comment. That was when you went over chapter 7, verse 4. That was a really good explanation. I've never really fully understood that until now. I'm not sure if I still understand it, but a better understanding. And last night we talked about the mind, intelligence, false ego, and I had the question too: why is the false ego the most important? And Prabhu explained it, and then you further explained it with all the elements. And now I understand. So thank you for that. That was really great.
Hare Krishna.
I've long not understood that until now. The question I have is something else that I wondered about. So in the beginning, you said that that Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he explains it to the audience, the time, the place, the situation, right? And that makes sense, right? And that's the difference between the religions and stuff, right? And that completely makes sense. But a question, and I like this understanding of Krishna. It's very peaceful, it's very beautiful, it's very satisfying, right? But I'm wondering, so do the demigods, right, on the higher planets, do they have a completely different understanding because they're in a different time, a place, and situation? So do they have, because they're higher spiritual beings than we are, so do they have more understanding or different understanding, or is this the understanding? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yes, that's a very good question. So yes, it is explained in Śrīmad Bhagavatam and also in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the demons, they are mainly in the mode of ignorance because they don't surrender to God. They just want their own happiness. So they are ignorant, the mode of ignorance. They don't know anything except their own sense gratification. Human beings, we are in the mixed mode of passion and ignorance. We want to enjoy, we want to create industries, innovations, discoveries. That's passion, to create, invent, search, seek. And the demigods, they are mainly in the mode of goodness. In fact, the bodies of the demigods are not made up of organs and tissues like our bodies. The bodies of the demigods are subtle. That's why we cannot see them. Even if they don't come in Kali Yuga, but even if they came, we would not be able to see them unless they reveal themselves to us. So it's not that Indra will get a cancer because his body is subtle. It's not body made of flesh and blood and bone. He doesn't have a humerus here and a femur here. No. So their bodies also can get injured, but their bodies are subtler. And to injure them, you need subtle weapons. So the demigods, the point is, they are made up of mode of goodness, mainly. They have passion and ignorance, but predominantly they are made of mode of goodness. Their understanding is of Lord Narayan or Lord Krishna. And anyone who is a devotee of Lord Narayan or Lord Krishna is called a Sura or demigod. And anyone who is not a devotee is called Asura. So the demigods, the higher beings, they are devotees of Krishna. And what is their understanding of Krishna? We simply have to read Śrīmad Bhagavatam, because Śrīmad Bhagavatam is filled with the prayers and realizations of Indradev, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma. So we simply have to read Bhagavatam and we'll understand what great understanding they have of Krishna. That what their understanding is becomes our Shastra, becomes our scriptures. So yes.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
very great explanation. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So does anyone else have any question here?
Can I ask
Yes.
one more question?
Yes, sure.
So also you said that Christians, right, if they're faithful and truly believe in Jesus, right, God, that they will go to Brahmaloka, right?
Mhm.
And then there they can attain more perfection, right?
Yes.
And then will they go to Krishna Loka or just one of the Vaikuntha planets? Because I've often wondered about that, right? Because I mean, I was brought up Christian, my family's Christian. Now I follow ISKCON, right? And they're faithful and they're good people,
Yes.
right? So I'm not sure, like I understand that it's all God and all that, but yeah, how exactly does that work again? If you wouldn't mind going over
Yes,
that.
yes. So Islam has a impersonal understanding of Bhagwan, that God is formless. That's why they don't allow us to draw any paintings of God. They consider it blasphemy. And God is formless and God is just a greatest power, Allah. That is the Islamic understanding. And that is in one way bona fide, because God has different aspects. The Christian understanding is that God is our Supreme Father. So it's a more personal understanding of Bhagwan. However, it is filled with awe and reverence, Aishwarya. And when there is Aishwarya, you go to Vaikuntha. To enter Vrindavan, one has to have so much love for God that respect, adoration, awe, and reverence it's forgotten. There is so much intimate love. So, for example, when you meet a very great person, initially there will be awe and reverence. So let's say you somehow meet Elon Musk, and somehow you become friends, and you start chatting, and he gives you a Twitter account now, and he starts following you, and you start following him. You become friends. He invites you, come with me, come stay, be in my Tesla factory, spend some time with me. You become buddies. So initially your relationship will be formal, awe and reverence. But as you become intimate, you go and you stay with him and you hang out with him, it will become more informal. And then you will put your hand on his shoulder and you will joke with him. You'll pull his leg, he will pull your leg. That is Vrindavan. So it's not that when you are his buddy, it's not that you don't know that Elon Musk is the richest man on the planet. You know it. But that understanding becomes forgotten. It becomes secondary. You're my buddy. First, you are my buddy. That is Golok Vrindavan, where the devotees like Madhumangal and Subal and Sudam, they know that Krishna is God, but it's not the prominent thought. It's forgotten because there's so much love and intimacy. Playing with Krishna takes precedence over offering him Aarti. I want to play with him. He's my buddy. I want to wrestle with him. I'm going to pin him down. I'm going to eat from his tiffin what Yashoda has packed for him. That is prem. So there is more sweetness, madhurya, in Golok Vrindavan. And because of madhurya, that aishwarya, awe and reverence is forgotten. So if some religion is teaching us our Father in heaven, he is the provider. He provides me, give us our daily bread. That is aishwarya. And they will go to Vaikuntha, and that is great. That is great. But we have to also understand that Brahmaji is our Sampradaya Acharya. We are the Brahma Sampradaya. And in Gaur Leela, Brahmaji has come as Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur has full understanding of Vrindavan. In fact, Brahma Samhita prayers which describe Golok Vrindavan is spoken by Lord Brahma. So if some Christian is very faithful, if some Christian is really looking for the essence, really looking for perfection, Brahmaji will give him that. And they will go to Golok Vrindavan. Because this is Brahmaji's Sampradaya, our Krishna consciousness movement. So Brahmaji can give them the highest. It just depends on the sincerity of the devotee, of the practitioner. So everything is possible. Hare Krishna. Dina hina yata chilo hariname uddharilo. Tara sakshi jagai matai. So everything is possible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Gaurachandra Prabhu and then Divya Mataji. Sorry, I have to. 1 second. You can unmute yourself now.
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandar Pranam. Thank you so much for the very lovely class, Prabhuji. And just one question, Prabhuji, just in regards to the demigods, you just mentioned, and I've heard it before, I think in one of your classes as well, that demigods have subtle body, which means that it's made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego. So Prabhuji, like they don't have any like a gross, the Panchabhut. So I'm just like, obviously for a conditioned soul like me, it's hard to imagine like how do they then operate and then walk and all. So how does that work, Prabhuji? Like, can you please explain more about that, please?
So the more advanced a being is, the more subtle the body will be. For example, Lord Brahmaji's entire body is subtle. Whereas when Indra is fighting with Vritrasur, Indra is bleeding. You see, Indra bleeding. Because Indra is not on the same level as Brahmaji. But the more advanced the demigods become, the more subtler and subtler their bodies become. And the more their bodies are composed of Sattva Gun, mode of goodness. Like that. And there are Ashwini Kumaras. There are two twins among the demigods who are the physicians. So demigods also, they may suffer from health problems. Therefore, they have physicians, Ashwini Kumars. But they don't have hospitals. They don't have Emory Healthcare and Piedmont Healthcare in the Swargalok. So they fall sick, but not as frequently as us. They don't have any pandemics. So they may have some issues with their health, but they are not as much as we have in the human society. So like that. So the more advanced they are, the more subtler their bodies. There is a story in Ramayana where Ravan got angry with Narad Muni. And he fired his Brahmastra and his most powerful weapons at Narad Muni. And they just went right through his body. Nothing happened. Because Narad Muni's body is entirely spiritual. It's not even subtle. It's spiritual. It is Chinmay Sharir, Narad Muni. That's why Narad Muni has entrance into Vaikuntha. Yeah. Like that. So it becomes more and more subtle. Like even in our Earth planet, you see the body of a tree. A tree is a very dull body, doesn't have intelligence, doesn't have mind, doesn't have locomotive ability, cannot move. It is just standing in one place for years. And look at the body of a human being. There is so much difference. Our body can do so many more subtle things. The subtle faculties in a human body are so much more developed than a dog or a bird or a tree. Subtle body means subtle faculties means our intelligence, our mind is so much more evolved. So one can say that our body is subtler than the body of an ant, because ant doesn't have the intelligence to create a computer. So our subtle faculties are more evolved. So therefore we are subtler. Ant may not need a psychologist. We need psychologists. Why? Because our subtle faculties are more evolved, so they are more prone for diseases, mental diseases like depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. So we are subtler than an ant. Ant is only thinking of sugar. Where can I get some food to eat? Whereas we are thinking of cryptocurrency. You see? So there's a difference. We are more subtle. We are more evolved. Like that. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Demigods are even more evolved. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So Divya Mataji and then Ricky Prabhu and then Ananya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, when you spoke about Islam, like I have some friends who are Muslims and they don't, draw any pictures, or they don't, they do think it's a blasphemy of God to do that. So I'm just wondering, isn't there a contradiction between Islam and Vaishnavism?
Actually, it is not a contradiction, Divya Mataji. It is just a lack of understanding because they are not exposed. For example, if you tell a fourth grader that there is something called as calculus, fourth grader will say, no, it is just tables and multiplications, because they have not done anything beyond that. They don't know about statistics and trigonometry. So it's like that. So in Islam, they have a Prophet Muhammad, he spoke the perfect knowledge for that time, place, and circumstances. But Arjun and the rishis sitting in Naimisharanya, they were ready for much more details. Much more details. So in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, we are reading about in the first canto conversation between Vyasdev and Narad Muni. Vyasdev is asking questions to Narad Muni. Now Vyasdev has the capacity to hear anything spiritual. So Narad Muni's instructions will be very high class. Will be very high class. Even look at Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, look at his Bhagavad Gita classes in 1966. They are there on ISKCON Desiratory. That Srila Prabhupada gave in New York in 26nd Avenue. When devotees are brand new, Prabhupada is speaking basic philosophy. And then sitting in Vrindavan later on in 1975, Srila Prabhupada will speak Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu lectures. Sitting in Radha Damodar temple. You see? Those are much more details. Prabhupada is talking about Radharani and things like that. The service of the gopis, Krishna's types of friends, what is Narma Sakha, what is Priya Sakha, what is Priya Narma Sakha. Prabhupada is giving all that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, for example. But Prabhupada did not give it in 1966 because the devotees were not ready. So it's exactly like that. Does that make sense? So it's simply because of lack of understanding, not actually a contradiction. In fact, I also have a Muslim friend, Ashrat uncle. He told me confidentially, he said, no Muslim will tell you this, but I can show you in some of our writings in our Islamic tradition, it is mentioned that one should be vegetarian and one should not eat onion garlic. This a Muslim told me, Ashrat Khan.
My friend.
My father's friend. He personally, when he came to Varda, he told me personally. He said, I can show you. And there are some Muslims, traditional Muslims who don't eat onion garlic and they are vegetarians. Even in the Christian faith, there are Benedictine monks. Benedictine monks. You can Google it. Benedictine monks. They are a sect within Christianity. They are very traditional and they are pure vegetarians and they are completely celibate. They are brahmacharis. You can take them and bring them in our brahmacharya ashram and they'll be perfectly suited for that. And they are following. So they are surely going to Brahmalok and beyond. They are pure. They are celibate. They are vegetarians. They are praying. They have full faith in Lord Almighty. So like that. Is that okay, Divya Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ricky?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have just a couple of questions. Not much, but a couple of questions. One question, I know in the morning we do these prayers and everything, but sometimes I miss it. and this recording, where can I get these recordings when you record them?
The morning.
No, the morning one, but this the Bhagavad Gita, like sometimes I try to be, but sometimes work doesn't allow you to listen to them. So I want to listen to them and to access all those books that you are talking about so that I can read more.
Sure. Do you have my phone number, right, Ricky? We have messaged each other on WhatsApp.
I think the only thing I have is a group number, not the phone number.
Okay.
You have my phone number because you added me to this group.
Yeah, I have your phone number. So what I will do is I will send you the link. It's all uploaded on YouTube.
Okay.
There's a YouTube channel and I will send you the link to that channel.
Perfect. Yeah. Because I want to read more about it and want to know a little bit more about it, as I have very minimal understanding about these things. So that's why I want to know more about these details. That is my biggest thing, that I want to know how to access these. Was in the morning also, I try to be there, but sometimes I cannot. And how should I, like, I know you try to translate the Sanskrit thing, but if I want to have my kid learn about these things, what should I do, or how should I prepare him for these things?
So
Because
again,
he's 5-year-old, so it's the best age to start him to.
Yes. So actually, there is a devotee. His name is Amarendra Prabhu, and he teaches Sanskrit.
Mhm.
And he teaches Sanskrit to kids also. And actually, his first batch just graduated this week. So I will send you his information on WhatsApp, and you can ask him when the next batch is starting, and you can enroll your kid, your son.
Perfect. Thank you, Prabhuji. That is my thing to ask you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ricky Prabhu. Thank you for your interest and your sincerity. Hare Krishna. Ananya, you want to ask a question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for such a wonderful class. Prabhuji, you spoke about mind, intelligence, and false ego. What about the consciousness, Prabhuji? What is it?
Consciousness. So we saw that wanting, desiring things and rejecting is the symptom of mind. Discrimination and discerning ability is the symptom of intelligence. Identifying with the body is a symptom of the soul, is a symptom of the false ego. Identifying with the body. And consciousness is a symptom of the soul. So wanting things, rejecting things is a symptom of the mind. Discrimination and discerning ability is symptom of the intelligence. Identifying with the body is symptom of the false ego, and consciousness, chitta, consciousness, is a symptom of the presence of the soul. When the soul leaves, there is no consciousness. So consciousness is symptom of the soul. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. I just had one more question. Consciousness and what is that? The mind. Like when we are completely Krishna consciousness, does the mind not work? Is there no function of the mind?
No, the mind always works. As long as we are in the material world, the mind will work, the intelligence will work. But the mind becomes our friend. Right now, the mind is a vairi. The mind is an enemy. Why? Because our mind is infected with lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, false ego. So the mind is our enemy. It is uncontrolled. So we are living with the enemy. But because of Krishna consciousness, when we are Krishna conscious, and our mind becomes our friend. Therefore, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has written Mana Shiksha. Mana Shiksha, to train the mind so that the mind becomes our friend. Even Srila Govinda Kaviraj is addressing the mind. Bhajahu re mana Shrinanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. He's telling the mind, come on, mind. You serve Govinda, you serve Krishna, Nandanandan Krishna. So we have to train our mind to become our friend. So mind works for a Krishna conscious person also, but the mind is working to always think of Krishna. Man mana, bhavamad bhakta. So it's a Krishna conscious mind. It's a friend mind. It's a mind that we can trust. The mind becomes good. But right now we cannot trust the mind. We have to use our spiritual intelligence. What is spiritual intelligence? It is the intelligence that is trained by reading Bhagavad Gītā, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, by hearing satsang, by hearing and reading and chanting. The intelligence that we develop, that is called spiritual intelligence. And we have to use this spiritual intelligence to control the mind. Then the mind, when the mind is under spiritual intelligence, it's a friendly mind. It's a good mind. It's a pure mind. That is called Cheto Darpana Marjana. Mind that is pure. As long as we are in the material world, mind and intelligence will be there with us. And our Krishna consciousness movement means to make the mind and intelligence Krishna conscious. When we go to Vaikuntha, when we go to the spiritual world, there is no mind, there is no intelligence there, there is no false ego there. And there is no other 5 gross elements. So there is no man, there is no buddhi, there is no ahankar there. There is no false ego. There is only true ego. That Jivara Sarupha Krishna Nityadas. And there is no Paramatma also in Vaikuntha. There is no Paramatma because we are directly with Krishna. Face to face. So Paramatma, mind, intelligence, false ego, these are all there only as long as we are in the material world. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So thank you very much, dear devotees, for your kind association. We will stop here, and Krishna willing, we will meet again next Saturday. Śrīmad
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jai Srila
Thank you.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.